Hello and welcome to another episode of the Acupuncture Outsider. This is Richard Hazel. Today I want to talk about a little muscle that causes big pain. It's called anconeus. And people who have been doing orthopedic acupuncture for a while are probably familiar with anconeus as a possible cause of tennis elbow, lateral epicondylitis. There are probably a lot of people out there who are not familiar with the anconeus, because you're really not ever going to see somebody flexing their anconeus in your Instagram feed. It's a tiny muscle in the outer part of the elbow. The attachments for that muscle are the lateral part of the lateral epicondyle and the lateral aspect of the olecranon. So when the muscle flexes, it can help arm extension, like the triceps, especially at the locked out position, and it can assist with pronation of the forearm. I imagine that the attachment at the lateral part of the olecranon will rotate a bit toward the lateral epicondyle in order to perform pronation. So when you have somebody coming in with lateral epicondyle pain, it's really prudent to palpate the anconeus for tenderness or pain. I see this muscle getting injured a lot on people who do a lot of CrossFit, overhead presses. What happens on like a clean or a snatch, they'll at the top of the movement, the elbows get locked out, the forearms are in pronation, and that they can get a lot of elbow pain right at the top of that movement when they lock out the elbow. So this is really good to check on anybody with lateral epicondylitis, lateral epicondyle pain. I like to talk about lateral epicondylitis more as a tendinopathy than a tendinitis, because you can get to 100% relief on many people by just releasing the muscles. There's no residual pain or soreness over the lateral epicondyle on many people. I'm not saying everybody. So I think on many people, it's more of a tendinopathy caused by muscle shortening of the wrist extensors, brachioradialis, etc. That's a different thing to talk about, but I want to talk about how anconeus can go missed for that lateral epicondyle pain. I've noticed it in other people who do not do CrossFit, and they'll explain it as sharp pain when they go to grab a doorknob to turn the doorknob. So my guess is they're pronating and engages that anconeus and causes pain. So that's another thing to look for in your intake is when does it hurt. So those are the two main ones that I see, and I see this a lot. The reason I'm doing this episode is because I treated it on two different people this week with success, like one treatment. It's a tiny muscle. My opinion is the smaller the muscle, the faster it can be released and give complete relief. The dense muscles are the ones that often I need to come back to one or two more times, usually, to completely release them. The good examples are things like infraspinatus, glute medius. These can take a little bit more work to get a complete release that's giving you the results you're looking for. But definitely, anconeus is such a quick one. Sometimes it will twitch really hard when you slide the needle in. I approached the anconeus from how can I say this, sort of posterior aspect of it, coming from behind the elbow, pointing my needle toward the hand, direction of the hand. So it goes completely transverse into the anconeus. And I usually start it right at the back, midway between the lateral epicondyle and the olecranon. But if you palpate it, you'll have a good sense of the belly of that muscle, and just put a needle in almost anywhere in the anconeus. You will find a motor point, and very likely you'll get a twitch on it. It's a pretty simple one. Um, I guess that's all I really wanted to say today. It's not a very long episode. Maybe I'm making up for my really long-winded episode from last week. But I wanted to bring up anconeus for those of you who aren't familiar with it and maybe aren't aware of its action, and how it can be injured and when people will feel pain from it, because it really can cause quite a bit of elbow pain, and it's such a simple fix. But you got to find it, and that's the thing. Is like you could be in a lot of pain in the elbow, and especially on extension. And if you didn't know about anconeus, maybe you're working on triceps, hoping it's that lateral head of the triceps that attaches to the lateral epicondyle. And if you're not getting success there, you might be looking at things like extensor digitorum communis, which runs right through there. So if you are not familiar with anconeus, give it a try. Look at next time you have a tennis elbow patient, make sure you palpate anconeus. And as Perry Nicholson says, I assess mean, but I treat nice. And what that means is you kind of have to press hard on muscles to make sure that they are not painful. So you just like lightly tapping, people may not feel the discomfort there. You sometimes have to give it some pressure to confirm that there is an issue with that muscle. And then, of course, the treatment is as gentle as you can make it. Okay, so that is the episode for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will be working on anconeus and lateral epicondylitis in October in Amsterdam. So if you're interested in a motor point seminar, 3-day seminar, Dan Dominguez will be doing 1 day of that. I'm teaching 2 days with the kangfu.eu. So look at KANGFU seminars.eu, I believe it is, or just Google it. You'll find it. We'll be in Amsterdam in October doing upper extremity, head, neck, doing a lot of headache trigger points, migraine trigger points, shoulder treatments with trigger points, lateral epicondylitis, golfer's elbow, cubital tunnel, a lot of things that are really good to know. All the different nerve entrapments of the forearm, the radial nerve, the radial tunnel, cubital tunnel, carpal tunnel, trigger points for most of these treatments. So if you're interested, check it out, and have a good week.